so devastating because I don't want any more damage.
Be prepared, think ahead of time, over plan.
Weather extremes across the West, and tonight authorities are warning about the dangerous storms that are moving in.
A lot of the different fire agencies are working on upstaffing some swiftwater rescue resources to be available around the region.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. These latest storms are raising concerns, especially in Southern California, where those recovering from last month's fires are now being told they may need to evacuate because of the threat of mudslides. Tonight, authorities are rushing to prepare for what could be the heaviest rainfall of the year.
I don't have any words for it with the winds and the fire and now the rain. I don't know. It's so devastating because I don't want any more damage.
In our neighborhood, I think we're actually just trying to be a little extra prepared. The property that we live on it's a little low to the ground. There's not like a lot of elevation, so just to be prepared.
People in Altadena, where the Eaton fire burned last month, have been working for days to surround their properties with sandbags. First responders expect heavy rain on bare hillsides could trigger mudslides or debris flows. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna says evacuation warnings for some areas affected by the Palisades, Sunset, and Hearst fires will take effect tomorrow morning.
We're being very surgical about it as opposed to large areas that we don't believe at this point need to be evacuated, but we are constantly evaluating and reevaluating that as the weather forecast changes.
Evacuation warnings have already been issued in some parts of Orange County near the site of the recent airport fire. And crews have been working all throughout this week to stabilize hillsides in the Palisades fire zone. A long stretch of Pacific Coast Highway is shut down tonight as a precaution. LA County Public Works leaders say it's not just people near burn areas who need to prepare for these storms.
This rain event, it does present a higher risk to our residents, particularly those that are living within the burn scar areas, not only Palisades and Eaton fire area, but any burn scar area within the last year.
And the rain is expected to be heaviest in Southern California tomorrow. Meantime, people across Northern California are bracing for these storms, with some communities in the San Francisco Bay Area still cleaning up after a soaking system that hit last week. In Santa Rosa, flood warning signs are already stacked up on the side of the road in preparation. Several roads in the city have been trouble spots already this year. Last week, flooding forced fire crews to evacuate several people from a local hospital, and sandbag stations are open and ready to go. Firefighters say they're preparing for the rapid rise of streams and creeks all across the North Bay.
A lot of the different fire agencies are working on upstaffing some swiftwater rescue resources to be available around the region, as well as also a strike team of wildland engines that have four-wheel drive capabilities. We are staffing that type of equipment because it allows those resources to get into higher water.
The Bay Area is also preparing for possible power outages, with warnings that high wind gusts could bring down tree limbs or potentially uproot trees entirely because of the saturated soil. And it is already wet across some parts of the Bay Area tonight. Here's a live look at the conditions on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you can see the rain is already falling here and the roads are wet. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, who is tracking these storms and the impact they could have across the West. Good evening, Roberta.
Good evening, Alex. And what you could not see because of the darkness at that Golden Gate Bridge is the flag on the fly with a high wind warning in effect for the San Francisco Bay Area along the San Mateo coast and much of the North Bay coastline, as well as Santa Cruz. Those winds will be in excess of 70 miles per hour as far as the gusts are concerned. We're taking a look at the leading edge of the precipitation. This is strictly going to be a Northern and Southern California event, bypassing the Pacific Northwest. We see the leading edge of just renegade showers at this hour in advancement of the frontal boundary area, but a flood watch is in effect for the Bay Area and now streaming all the way into Los Angeles, in addition to that winter storm warning for the High Sierra. It's going to be the biggest snowfall of the season. Flood watch for the Bay Area with rapid runoff. This is going to hugely impact tomorrow morning's commute. Meanwhile, today in San Francisco, 53 degrees when the average high temperature for the city by the Bay is 60 degrees. And in Los Angeles, the high was 54. Your average is a lot closer to 70 degrees. And as we take you now to the Pacific Northwest, Seattle's high 42. Your average high is 50. You have one more night dipping down into the 20s. It's currently 34 degrees there and 54 in Los Angeles. This is impressive. This is a typical atmospheric river. You could see it now beginning to bang up against the coastline, but look at how far it trails off, tapping into subtropical moisture all the way back to the Hawaiian Islands. But let's go to the mountains where that winter storm warning is in effect for the High Sierra. 2 to 5 feet of snow by the weekend. The forecast for the West Coast, we're talking about Seattle tomorrow. One more day of well below average temperatures into the high 30s. We do have a chance of thunderstorm activity with the gusty winds and the rain in the Bay Area tomorrow, tapering off by your Friday. Los Angeles, you're in and out of the rain for the next couple of days, basking in sunshine in Phoenix, but a cold start to your weekend in the Mile High City. Alex?
All right, Roberta, thank you. And tonight we are already seeing some of the damage following snowstorms in southern Oregon. The Medford School District posted this video online, and it shows the roof of a high school gym collapsing under the weight of 700,000 pounds of snow that's accumulated. This happened yesterday at Medford High School. Thankfully, no one was hurt here. The school canceled classes today, and that allowed crews to come in and assess the damage. Once that work is completed, the school will announce when students can return to the campus. Authorities in Washington do not want people to let their guard down with dangerously cold conditions persisting there tonight. Roberta talked about this just a moment ago. And here is a live look at Seattle tonight, where they got a slight warm up today, but the temperatures are plummeting once again. Fox 13's Alejandro Guzman shows us how people in this area are getting through a 2-day deep freeze.
Can be deceiving, especially these days. The sun is shining, but there's a finger-numbing chill in the air.
There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing, and I apply that to my house.
Andy Bell has lived in West Seattle for 32 years. Yeah. Slowly but surely, he's prepped his home for cold days still ahead. His windows are triple paned.
All of our exterior walls and roof are insulated very well.
He even made sure his patio and front doors are well sealed, like the Department of Energy recommends.
What that does is it just keeps the warm air in the wintertime, and it keeps the warm air out in the summer.
He's well insulated, making his average monthly electricity bill about $100.
You always wrap the faucets, but you drain those pipes before you do that. So you don't have to really worry about your pipes freezing.
If you're looking to lower your energy bill, Puget Sound Energy says,
there's tons of ways.
Start by logging into your PSE account. Take the home energy assessment quiz. It'll break down where your energy is going.
It might tell you need to change your light bulbs, or check your filter, or change out an appliance, etc., etc. Things like that are the little things customers can start with.
Once you're comfortable and have found your groove, saving energy and money can get you rebates, especially if you sign up for PSE Flex, a program where you get rewarded for saving energy during peak times.
And these rebates aren't just available to the most privileged, it's also available to all of our income qualified customers as well.
Now you can also get an energy audit to help lower your bill. As you'll hear our meteorologists, they've been tracking the cold temperatures and the possibility for snow, and that's just right around the corner. So make sure you have those emergency kits ready. One for your work, one for your car, and one for your home. What should you put in these? Well, make sure you have blankets, non-perishables, a charger for your phone, and of course, flashlights. In White Center, Alejandra Guzman, Fox 13 News.
And to stay on top of the latest developments tied to this week's severe weather, head to our website, westcoastwrap.com. Our online coverage there includes a breakdown of some of the areas most at risk for mudslides and flooding as these storms move in. We turn now to San Diego, where 2 Navy pilots were rescued today after their jet crashed just off the coast. Witness video shows the Growler jet going straight down into San Diego Harbor this morning near Shelter Island. The Navy said both pilots ejected from the jet before it hit the water. They were rescued by a fishing boat, and they are in stable condition tonight. Officials say the jet apparently crashed while the pilots were attempting to land. The Coast Guard set up booms around that site to contain the debris field.
The main channel of San Diego Bay remains open in and out, but you'll see a large Coast Guard and Navy presence holding the maritime perimeter of the debris field while all of the debris is recovered.
2 Coast Guard vessels are safeguarding the wreckage in the San Diego harbor. The Growler jet that crashed was based out of Washington State. The 2-seater jet specializes in electronic warfare. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, it sounds like the plot from a movie tracking a giant asteroid that could potentially hit Earth. But this is all unfolding in real life, and it's happening here in the West. Tonight we'll catch up with the Arizona astronomers playing a key role in this important mission. Plus, tempers flare ahead of a vote on whether one Southern California city should help federal immigration authorities as they search for those who are undocumented.
Stop wasting our time, kill this resolution, and leave it dead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have got to control yourself or we're not going to get through this meeting until tomorrow.
And not have favoritism to a group.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 5 minutes when you can calm down.
A 10 city council meeting in El Cajon, California needed to be cleared twice before a vote could take place on whether the city will assist federal agents with immigration enforcement. This packed meeting happened last night just outside San Diego. People on both sides of the debate over President Trump's illegal immigration crackdown stepped up to the podium, hoping to sway council members' votes.
Even less than 10 illegals would not be acceptable and should not be tolerated because of safety, life, or more important, showing one's ID, legal status. I mean, that's the least we can do. Just show our ID, show our legal status to make sure that there's some safety in our community. Please pass this resolution and uphold your oath of office, and thank you so much.
There have been reports of questioning or detainment of American citizens, veterans, indigenous people, and human beings whose only crime has been crossing the border. Who wants that in their community? Stop putting my neighbors at risk. Stop wasting our time. Kill this resolution and leave it dead. Thank you.
And in the end, El Cajon City Council voted 3-2 in favor of helping federal immigration authorities. Out of 18 cities in San Diego County, El Cajon stands alone with the passage of this ordinance. The former Hawaii Congresswoman nominated by President Trump to lead national intelligence operations has been sworn into office. Today, the Senate voted 52-48 to confirm former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell joined all Democrats in opposing her, saying she, quote, failed to demonstrate that she was prepared for the role. Gabbard ran for president in 2020 as a Democrat before shifting to the right and officially joining the Republican Party. She traveled the country in support of the Trump campaign in the run-up to last year's election. Well, the latest numbers from the Labor Department confirm what we have all seen. Egg prices are skyrocketing right now. They were up 15% last month from December. As Fox's Lauren Clark reports tonight from Phoenix, this is having a big impact on bakeries and restaurants.
Country fried chicken, icy hot.
At Jules Bakery and Cafe off Thomas and 42nd Street. The menu is gluten-free, but there's one ingredient that's everywhere.
We use eggs constantly in almost every single one of our dishes.
And lately, says owner Julie Moreno, that's exactly the problem.
As a business owner, this egg crisis is really crazy.
As the country deals with the chicken shortage sparked by bird flu, egg prices have shot up.
One day I looked and I paid $130 for 15 dozen eggs, which should typically cost $60.
But after last month's egg bill, she cracked.
In January, we spent about $4,300 on eggs alone.
Which is why she scrambled for substitutes like liquid eggs in some dishes. Meanwhile, at Red Velvet Bakery in South Phoenix,
Red Velvet or Red Velvet Pecan or Chocolate Light Rail.
all of their eggs are in one basket too.
Eggs are going to be located in every single baked good that we make. It's going to be our cupcakes, our cookies, and so on. So of course, those increasing egg prices do affect that.
Bakery store manager Emma Logston says they've had to raise prices slightly to adjust. And so far, that hasn't dampened the demand for their sweet treats.
I would like to thank our community for supporting us, a small business, and thank you for coming out, even from far and near, and supporting us, truly.
And that was Fox 10's Lauren Clark reporting for us tonight from Arizona. In Nevada, a bill that could lower egg prices is now making its way through the state legislature. This bill would give the state agriculture director the power to suspend the cage-free egg restrictions during shortages and keep prices lower by allowing wholesalers and retailers to sell regular eggs for up to 120 days. The bill passed in the state assembly yesterday. It now heads to the Senate, and if it passes there, ultimately it will arrive on the governor's desk for him to sign it. Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes is speaking publicly for the first time about her life behind bars in an exclusive interview with People magazine. She's nearly 2 years into her 11-year sentence for defrauding investors with false claims about the Silicon Valley blood testing startup. Holmes described her time in prison as, quote, hell and torture, away from her 2 children, ages 2 and 3, and her husband. She says they visit her twice a week at a federal prison camp in Texas. Holmes, who is 41 years old, maintains that she is innocent of lying to investors about the capabilities of that technology. A Utah lawmaker has sparked a debate with her push to make it possible for families to turn the remains of their loved ones into soil. Fox 13's Maya Constantino spoke to people in the state about her call for human composting.
James Loomis is an organic farmer who can't imagine a day without getting his hands into Earth's soils.
When we lose something we love, planting or growing or stewarding and nurturing another living thing can be a very important reminder that death is part of the cycle of life.
And after losing his 16-year-old son, Gray, unexpectedly last November, James decided what better way to stay connected to his son than to return him back to Earth.
My healing process can be to watch life continue. You know, I want a living monument to my child.
Human composting, also known as natural organic reduction, turns the remains of a human into soil. The practice is allowed in 12 states, including Colorado, Nevada, and Arizona. For several years, Utah lawmakers have been hesitant to jump on board. This is Micah Truman, CEO of Return Home, a funeral home in Washington that specializes in human composting. But what exactly does that involve?
The process takes a little over, typically it's about 2 months, a little over 2 months. And it is what we call in vessel. So we have a vessel at Return Home. It's 8 feet long, 3.5 feet tall, 3.5 feet wide. And we use organics, which are alfalfa, straw, and sawdust. We place a base layer of organics, the body on top of those organics, and then the remaining organics on top.
Truman says the microbes in our body that transform the food we eat into energy switch when we die and transform us.
The microbes become super active, and in the vessel, in about a month, our bodies completely transform into soil. They are then moved to a second phase where they are placed in a cube for the soil to cool and settle.
Truman says this process is more affordable and can have a deep impact on the people we love.
We had a family a little while ago. They lost their 7-year-old daughter, and her daughter loved the bees. She was passionate about bees, and they took her soil and they put it into 100 small bags. They gave each bag to one of her friends, one of her grade school friends. And the thing they asked them to do is to plant something that will feed the bees. So we really find so much beauty in this.
As for James, he plans to take Gray's compost to a family farm in Idaho, where a grove of trees will be planted.
I find it valuable for my grieving process that I have something to look forward to, and there's something that is going to grow and develop and build out of this. I'm looking forward to knowing that as these trees grow and I visit them regularly, I see that life goes on.
In Salt Lake City, Maya Constantino, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, astronomers here in the West are keeping their eyes on a giant space rock right now. Tonight, scientists break down the chances that this asteroid could be on a collision course with Earth. Hawaii's most active volcano erupted once again today, sending lava into the air for several hours. This is Kilauea's 9th eruption since December. These eruptions are happening within a closed area of the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island. While nearby homes are not in danger from the lava, the USGS has raised its volcano alert level from advisory up to watch. And finally tonight, scientists across the world are keeping a close eye on an asteroid that has a chance of hitting Earth. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen spoke with astronomers in Arizona who have special equipment to track it.
This is cool. Lowell Observatory is one of only 3 or 4 telescopes in the world right now monitoring this asteroid's path to keep us safe. A glimpse of an asteroid on a black and white telescope observation. That's asteroid 2024 YR4, and there's a very small chance it could hit Earth.
2.1% right now. Our hope is that as we continue to monitor the object, we'll see that the trajectory in 2032 moves off of the Earth and the impact probability will go to 0.
Nick Moskovitz with Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff says they're monitoring the asteroid at this critical time to determine the trajectory.
Right now, we're sort of in this transition where the telescopes like the Lowell Discovery Telescope, which is a 4-meter telescope, 16, 17 feet across, those are the only telescopes in the world that can see it.
A lot is still unknown, but NASA believes it's about the size of a football field. That's about the same size asteroid that caused Meteor Crater in Arizona.
Not going to cause mass extinction events. It's not, the end of the dinosaurs-like impact, but it would have significant regional consequences.
Now remember, there's a 98% chance it doesn't hit us, but if the odds fail us, the good news?
Oh, wow. Awaiting visual confirmation.
We have experience with this. In 2022, Moskovitz and researchers from U of A and NAU were integral to the DART mission, which threw a satellite hard into an even larger asteroid called Dimorphos and was able to change its trajectory. Space missions take years of planning, but Moskovitz believes that can be streamlined for planetary defense.
We could simply copy DART. We've done that before, down to the last screw, right? This would not take 10 years to do.
Lowell will keep at it. April is the date to keep in mind. At that point, we should have a lot more information on this asteroid and whether or not we need to start getting prepared. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
All right, I'm glad the group of scientists there in Arizona keeping a close eye on that asteroid in the meantime. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching, as always. And a quick reminder before we go tonight that you can stay up to date on all the big stories we are covering for you across the West at our website. That is westcoastwrap.com. And you can stream our shows on your smart TV. All you have to do is download the free Fox Local app. It is that easy. We'll leave you with this beautiful shot from the San Francisco Bay Area, a live look at the Oakland skyline tonight where rain is moving in. Another major storm hitting the west, and we will continue to track it. Have a great night.